Welcome everyone to this writing part 2, responding to surveys analysis. Before we get started, I do want to remind you that writing part 2, it focuses more on CLB 7 or higher. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that those students that need to get 7 or higher, 7 to 9, let's say, or higher, you need to make sure that you respond this question stronger than part 1. You need to focus more on developing the answers for this question because it's a little bit more complex, the topic, and we need to think of a little bit more, um, well, I would say just stronger ideas and stronger language. And that's what we're going to work on today. Okay, we're going to develop a 7 to 9 answer. Now, for lower levels, it means that this part is not as important and you should focus more on part 1. Okay? So, also, I want to let you know about our tips and strategies video. Okay? That video you can find in our Writing Part 2 playlist, or you can find it in the link in the description box. Okay? And that video will give you some tips and strategies about how to answer this question. And I'm going to be using those tips and strategies mainly in the structure and also the kind of language or how I develop my ideas. Okay? So you can watch that video if you'd like more details about that. So now let's get started with today's analysis from volume number 1, printer. Okay? So let's read. Your boss thinks paper is unnecessary because everyone has a computer and access to the internet. It's kind of true, maybe. Well, I think every company these days does have that's true. Your boss wants to take away all the printers so that people use much less paper. Okay, so take away all the printers so the workers, employees don't have to use so much paper. Other people think that this will be very inconvenient. Your boss asks you to respond to an opinion survey about whether to keep the printers. So basically, should we keep the printers or should we not keep the printers? And here we have the options. Option A, I think we should keep the printers in the office. Option B, I think we should have a paperless office with no printers. Well, let's remember about the options. Either option is possible. It's your opinion. But at the same time, I think either option you should, or a higher level should be able to respond to either option, either A or B. Okay, there's no wrong answer. Now, I would say that maybe you should answer what you feel you can answer more strongly. That I would say, whatever you think you can provide more ideas for, or not really ideas, but stronger ideas, okay? I think either one, again. And in my class, lots of students gave ideas for A and lots of students gave ideas for B, okay? And we always talk about ideas for both. I mean, for example, option A, we should keep the printers for many reasons, right? We use the printers in the office. It's very convenient. And I think every office uses printing for many different tasks. Maybe it does depend on what kind of office, maybe. But I think when we talk about an office, I think every office uses printing. Okay? And option B, well, paperless. I think paperless is very good for the environment. And also, maybe you can keep it more organized. The office, I don't like having paper around. So then, either option, we should have ideas for that. Now, I just want to remind you that I will be following this survey structure. At least the greeting, first reason, second reason, and closing. I'm not going to give a third reason. I'll mention that later, but I think two reasons, two well explained reasons, definitely can give you 7, 8, and 9, okay? But I'm going to follow this survey structure, okay? Very important structure. All right, and I've written that structure template here already, okay? I've written that one here. And the first part is the greeting. We start off with who you're writing. Well, it looks like we're writing to our manager. Okay, so then let's start with our greeting, okay? All right, so dear manager, to start, I'm so grateful to be part of this printer survey for our office. So, manager, boss, it says your boss up here. I think your boss can be your manager, okay? Sounds a little bit more informal to say dear boss, but let's just say manager, okay? Or you can say CEO, dear CEO, if he's the CEO, okay? Dear manager sounds good. And we know that it's your manager or your boss. So we should say dear, not to whom it may concern. In general, this survey we usually write in semi-formal style, okay? Semi-formal. All right? Because we should know our boss or our managers, okay? Okay, everyone, I just want to remind you that I usually put all of our forms, I usually put them in different colors, okay? So for example, the structure and organization of ideas, I usually put those in blue, main verb form in red, and every other part in black. So what this means is that this blue here, it's a structure form, a way of sequencing, okay? And most of our writing videos and speaking videos, they use this kind of structural and color coordination, okay? It's very beneficial for students. All right, so that's why that one is there in blue, okay? And we just want to be direct. I mean, the greeting is, we want to start off good, but it's not like we are going to express everything so strong in the greeting, okay? Now we want to put in our option that we choose. Okay. In my opinion, option A, keeping the printers in the office would be much more convenient for maintaining our office operating efficiently. Okay. So, now the reason we chose option A is just in my class, we chose option A. Okay. But again, either one is good. So we want to be direct. Option A, keeping the printers in the office. Keep the printers in the office, okay? Would be much more convenient for, again, structure, for what? For maintaining our office operating efficiently. Right, that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that our office is operating efficiently, okay? And printers usually do that. So again, we just did our greeting. We stated who we're writing to, and we gave the option that we think is better for us. Okay. So now we're going to go to the first reason. The first reason or first idea. Let's see here. So, first and most importantly, I believe that our printers have mainly been utilized for necessary documentation and other essential office needs. Okay. So in here, we are saying the main reason why we use the printers. Okay. For documentation and other essential office needs. Okay. Now, I do see here a stronger expression by using present perfect passive. Okay. Have been utilized. Okay. And it's different if you say, for example, that employees have utilized the printers for necessary documentation. So employees have done it. But in here, we're saying that our printers have been used or utilized. Okay, that's passive form, which is whenever we use passive form, it's stronger. Okay. So have been utilized for necessary documentation. Okay. And other essential needs. So it's not clear what that is, so we should give an example. For example, printing has been done to keep confidential records of our clients, as well as to copy physical signed ones for them. Okay, so sounds like this office keeps confidential records. Okay, good. And provides physical signed records to clients. Very good. And again, in here, we're using passive form, has been done. Okay. And printing has been done, not people have done or workers have printed. Okay. Or workers have been printing. That's active. But in here, we're just saying printing in general has been done. Okay. So you see how this example illustrates the necessary documentation and other essential office needs. Okay, very good. Now, I still feel we need to try to explain a little bit more, which is always good. So we explain what we want. Therefore, the printers should be maintained in the office for these essential printing duties. So very well explained. Firstly, right, printing has been utilized for this. We gave the example, and then we strengthened or made stronger our point, saying the printers should be maintained. Okay? Again, also here, this is modal passive. So we used passive in all forms. In perfect, okay, perfect, and in modal passive. So passive form, the passive tense, everyone, it's very strong to use when we're writing semi-formal or formal. And we were trying to explain, and also keep in mind that this is also for higher levels. Higher levels can use passive really well. Okay, especially 9 or higher. Okay, so please take note of that. All right, so we gave a really good first reason. Okay. Now let's go to the second reason. Okay, we have one. Now let's go to the second. What do we have here? Another important reason is that in many cases, printing is required to complete daily office tasks, which cannot be completed digitally. Okay. So required to complete daily office tasks over here was necessary documentation and essential. This says about daily office tasks, which cannot be completed digitally. Okay, not clear what those are, so we need to give an example. Before we go there, again, we're using passive form. Printing is required, okay, which cannot be completed. Again, we're using passive, and The reason is, again, because we're trying to explain the facts or the information more than who is doing those actions, okay? So let's see what is our example here. Okay. For instance, when clients need to fill out some forms, paper copies must be kept at the front desk, especially for our senior clients who are not technologically inclined. Okay, very good, very good. So we gave a clear example of these daily office tasks. Okay, filling out forms. We need to have paper copies of those forms. Okay, in many cases, it's true. Even when you go to clinics, even hospitals, they ask you to fill out paper copies, right? And these are very important. So that's true. And also, I like how in here it explains for our senior clients. Senior clients, they have a tough time completing forms on smartphones or tablets, okay? And this is a really good, I would say, expression, not inclined, not technologically inclined. To be inclined means to be interested or to be knowledgeable about something. For example, if I say I'm artistically inclined, means I'm interested in arts, okay? Or I can do arts well. I'm musically inclined. I'm interested in music and I can do musical things well. I'm technologically inclined. I can use technology easily and maybe I'm interested in doing things digitally. And as you know, older generations, they are not, or usually they're not technologically inclined. They don't understand technology well. Okay? So, very good phrase there, to be inclined. Okay? And we use that to explain this idea. All right, let's close this idea here. Okay. Consequently, our printers should be retained to ensure that our office meets its daily operational routine. Okay, very good. Should be retained, should be maintained, should be kept, retained, keep, okay? To ensure, to guarantee, to make sure that our office meets its daily operation. So mainly that we meet it, we can complete it, we can do it. So meet, to meet its daily operational routine. Very good use again of expression here. Okay, everyone. Well, I hope that you can follow here that I did a similar or followed a similar pattern to explain myself. I gave an idea, I gave an example of that idea, and then explained I explained my opinion. Okay. All right. So already we have two strong ideas, and let's remember that we want to stay around the 200. Well, I'd say 180, 200. I will say more about the word count, but I feel like I have lots of words here already. Okay. So for that reason, I don't need a third reason, and I'm just going to move on to the closing. Okay, overall, I strongly support the idea of maintaining printers in the office because they have played a vital role in running our office tasks effectively and efficiently. All right, so in the closing, we want to just emphasize, we want to say our opinion again, we want to emphasize it more. So we said maintaining printers in the office, okay? And we did conclude with a stronger phrase. They have played a vital role. Right, played a vital role. When something plays a vital role, it means it's important in completing something. In this case, the printers have played a vital role in running our office tasks, running, keeping them going effectively and efficiently. Okay. Also, very good use whenever we use adverbs, everyone. Higher levels, we need to be using adverbs. Adverbs are something that are difficult um, for lower levels to use well, okay? Higher levels, we can use adverbs to explain ourselves better, like we did here. All right, so we closed there with a strong or emphasizing our opinion again, and then just a signature. Thank you for your attention, and I hope my opinion will be of value to you. Sincerely, first, last. This one here is just a regular closing signature, okay? And you see 205 words. I thought it was running at 200. Let's just review what we have done here well, okay? And I would say, first of all, 7 and 8. All right. This is higher than 9. It's definitely 9 or higher. Now, the first thing is that I want to mention about the number of words. Level 9s or anyone who wants a higher level, you should be more in the upper range of words. 190, 200. We went over by 5. That's not a problem at all. Just we should not go over by 20 or 30 words. No, then we need to make it shorter, okay? Anytime you're in the 200 word range, you've done well, okay? And you increase your chances of getting a higher score. Does this mean you can't get 9 or 10 or higher with only 170 words? No, no. You can get 9 or 10 with 170 words for sure. Just from those words need to be stronger. Less words need to be stronger ideas and maybe even stronger expression, okay? And definitely stronger grammar. So, also, I find that less words can't really explain the way we explain so clearly here. I do find that, okay? And also, let's not forget that these words, some of these words are just structure words. Like this one here is just structure. So those words don't really even count. It's just a way of closing. And some of our sequence words, right? Some of our sequence words there are many words there. So I think with our sequencing words and explanation, you should be able to get 200 words, okay? 190, 200. If you don't have 200 words and you have less words, what you say needs to be stronger. Okay. So that's the first thing. We have 200 words, that's great. That increases our score, okay? Now, the second thing is that, well, we've organized so well. Everyone, organization is at least 2 points. Look how well we've sequenced and organized from beginning to end. This is something that higher levels can do. They can sequence and organize their ideas greatly. So if you can just organize really well, that's automatically 6. Okay? Thirdly, I will say it's the grammar, punctuation and grammar. Now, about punctuation and grammar. First of all, 7 and 8, you can make some mistakes in grammar, some simple mistakes even. It's not a problem. Yep. It's not a problem to make simple errors in grammar for 7 or 8, but few. Not every time you're making a mistake, have, has, or it and its, or he, or we can't make too many. Some, or let's say few, but not many. Okay? Level 9s, we shouldn't be making any simple errors. Again, by simple, I mean like not putting a comma here or not putting a comma over here with especially or periods, or we can't make any of those level 9s or higher, okay? So that's one thing, no simple errors. The second thing is the grammar structures we've used are 9 or higher, okay? Which ones did we use the most? Present perfect passive, modal passive, simple present passive, modal passive, okay? Modal passive, okay? Okay, this is more an expression here. Modal passive. Whenever we, and even here we use the, well, present perfect actually. Whenever we use perfect tenses and perfect passive and modal passive, that is always a higher level. So why did we use these grammar structures? Because we are explaining some facts. We say printing is required to complete these tasks. You could say, it's not wrong to say, 7 or 8s, maybe you can say that. You can say, employees require the printer so they can print daily office tasks. Okay, you see? Which they cannot complete digitally. You could say that. There is a way, of course. What I'm trying to illustrate for you here is using passive form to express our ideas more strongly, okay? And should be retained as well. You will see in many of the examples that we have in our playlists, okay, for speaking and for writing, higher levels, that we use a lot of passive because passive is always stronger when we are trying to express things more formally. So the grammar is stronger. Okay. And lastly, I will say that some of the ideas we've said, we've expressed them in a stronger way. Documentation and other essential office needs, okay? Confidential records, physical signed ones, strong. Essential printing duties cannot be completed digitally, okay? This technologically inclined, this one should be in purple because it's more of a phrase. Usually like to put the phrases in purple. Okay, daily operational routine, have played a vital role. So our vocabulary is in the higher levels, okay? All right, so, well, level 9s, we need to try to develop this kind of writing, okay? Let's put it into practice. Now, 7s to 8s, we don't really need to express things so strongly as we did here, but I hope that you can understand these ideas and you can develop them. How can you develop them? Well, you can develop them, everyone, by reading this example, reading it more and more, and then typing it. Typing it as well. And let's try to understand should be retained. Let's try to understand the grammatical forms and try to make sentences similar to these ones, okay? So for that matter, everyone, for that matter, I will be leaving a link in the description box to this sample writing so you can practice it, okay? Let's practice reading it and typing it, okay? It'd be very good practice. And also, let's not forget, if you need some more writing practice, our CELPIP Library, everyone. CELPIP Library has numerous examples of Part 2 writing at the 7-9 level, and also listening and reading and speaking, okay? So for that reason, at the bottom of that link, there's going to be a link to purchase a library pass, okay? And with discount code CELPIP79, you can get a 3-month subscription for $10.99. Everyone, it will really be worth it. Okay? You want to pass your exam with 9 or higher, 7 or higher? Then purchase a library pass. It will really help you. Okay, everyone, let's remember, practice makes perfect.